phone number of Mr. Brown Mkhotsi on your telephone?
That I have the cell phone number, yes.
Why?
It's because I've known him from 2017 and I've been using that number.
Glynnis is saying about some fellow. 2 weeks ago, it does happen in a week or 2 or 3. I think a week and a half ago, I got somebody insisting that there's somebody who's going around saying he works with me wherever I am, he is there. And I said, show me the face. And it got to a point where he showed me the face, and I told him, I don't know this person. And a week before, there was another person, Mchunu, who said is my younger brother. My younger brother died in 2005, and I don't have any other. And so when the person says so, you really... So I think we must be very circumspect when people come to us and say, I must be an associate of this and that. I'm no associate to the person that John Glynnis is referring to. But I appreciate whatever they discussed and then those things coming out so that I understand who is saying what, where, and so on. I do know that possibly all of us, including you, Che, you would have at one point or the other somebody claiming that they are your associate. It does happen.
Why have you known him since 2017? And what do you use the number for?
Why didn't I?
Why have you known him since 2017? And what do you use the number for?
No, we're just talking...
About what?
Look, let me explain, Brown Mkhotsi. To me, there are more and more things that are coming out that I didn't know about Brown Mkhotsi. I knew him just like I got to know you. Nothing else. Just know you as a member of parliament. Then we go on. And then in the course of time, especially recently, I got to know things that I never got to know when there were no current problems. And which then put that question to say, so why would Brown say he's at Lusisi with me and create that impression when it's not? Why would he take a posture that whatever he says to other third parties, it is because he has had a discussion with me and so on?
Minister, that's not what I asked you. You must please listen more carefully to the questions. And it will get done so much more quickly. I asked, what do you talk to him about? Why do you need to use his cell phone number? Not about what he says about you. I'm not interested in what he says about you.
That is part of my answer. That's part of my answer. But I can go on to say we speak about ANC-related matters with him. But I know he likes throwing a lot of other things that have nothing to do with the ANC. That's when I normally don't answer him, or all the time don't answer him.
Okay. And you communicate with him on Signal, you said, amongst other things. WhatsApp and Signal.
That I do what?
You communicate with him on WhatsApp and Signal, you said.
Yes, because he said he has it and I have it.
Yes. So normally people communicate on Signal when they want to be sure that nobody else can read their correspondence. So what are you talking to him about that you're trying to hide?
Same matters. There's nothing more.
Listen, anytime you ask a very basic question, do you know Brown Mkhotsi? And then they start telling you, and then my young brother died in 2005. Nobody asked you about your young brother. May his soul rest in peace. But we don't mean to disregard him, but that is not what you're being asked in Parliament. You're being asked a specific question. Do you know Brown Mkhotsi? And you know, that I played you the clip on the 5th of March where he said, nah, I don't know him. And then he just brushed it aside, you know, like some nonchalant moment. That was way before anybody could have known there was something called the Madlanga. The Madlanga Commission was going to be created in his honor. In the whole police minister's honor, as well as no one would have known there was going to be an ad hoc committee, because now they had to create this committee because they kind of just brushed it out under the rug on the 5th of March. And then now all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, Glynnis did come to Parliament. What did we do? Absolutely nothing. So now the country sees us with egg on our faces. We got to look real serious. But I absolutely thoroughly love this moment. Okay, this entire clip's by the DA Honorable Member Breytenbach. She is amazing. Okay, she was not playing. Of course, she talks with her words. She talks with her teeth clenched, and she barely opens her mouth. And but you can definitely hear what she's bringing to the table. You can hear the heat. The heat is coming out. She's nonchalant. She doesn't change her facial expression. And no, she doesn't open her mouth. Okay. She just goes and she slaughters. Like she skinned the minister alive. He couldn't believe it. For example, she said, "Answer the question. That's not what I asked you. That's not what I asked you." If you answer the question, possibly, you could get through this a little bit faster. You've dragged this out long enough with your endless, unwinding questions because this man is a politician. Like, the more I listen to him, the more I say, no, this man is a politician. Okay. But then I'm going to grant him a little tiny, wincy bitty grace. Very tiny, like millimeter second. Tiny. Okay. I think he wears a hearing aid. I could be wrong, but it looks like he wears a hearing aid. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section. And that's why it seems like sometimes he doesn't hear what's going on, and then he just makes up what they said, or he picks up 3 words here and there, and then I think that's what's going on. I'm not helping him. But it looks like he has a hearing aid. Okay? A very, 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 very tiny modern technology kind of hearing aid. But I'm just speculating. I don't have any proof. Okay, don't send me any letters. Okay, I never been clean. Okay, but now this was so interesting. This whole Brown Mokgotsi conversation, and to me, he just failed to explain to us. He even has another app called Signal. They message each other on WhatsApp and Signal, and I've had his number since 2017. Why didn't you say that on the 5th of March, 2025, sir? Police minister under oath, huh? Why didn't you say that then? For me, that's a little bit too sus. And there has to be a penalty for this, okay? There has to be a penalty. I don't know if it's a penalty shot or what they're going to have to do to him. Just for that alone, there has to be consequences for him having not answered Parliament truthfully the first time around. But let's continue listening on because, there's more. There's more ways to skin a cat.
So this issue between General Mkhwanazi and yourself and Masemola, Sibiya, this is just a factional battle in the South African Police Service. Is that what we must accept? It's a battle for power. The head of the Hawks position is becoming available, or is available. Masemola is due to retire soon. Is this a factional battle? Have we been called here to sit here for days and hours on end to deal with a factional battle in the South African police?
Well, what has happened, which I know, is that when I issued directives, my view is that General Mkhwanazi took a personal stand against what I did for his own reasons. That's why, among other things, even when General Kumalo and others got arrested, Chief of Staff told me that he sent a message that gloves are off. As far as I'm concerned, the earlier response to what I'd done was personal, very, very personal. He took matters personal rather than as a police officer who would then engage openly. That's why there would be things like if he's clean and so on and all of those things. And when General Kumalo gets arrested, he then say, Chief of Staff must inform me that that gloves are off now. So in my view, all that has happened, the trigger on these matters that we find ourselves on here, the trigger is the directives. That's the first trigger. The second trigger is the arrest, where General Mkhwanazi kind of take a personal posture into matters of subs, which are not necessarily his personal, is part of that.
Yes, of course, he's got a job to do. Do you think that you are entitled, in terms of the prevailing legislation, to give the directive that you gave? Do you think that as minister you have that authority? Or do you think that you've overstepped the mark?
I have not exceeded the mark. I would not have done that if I ever thought that I would be operating or maybe operating outside legislation. I have never done so in the past. All my portfolios that I got deployed to.
It's fine, you've answered the question.
Yes.
Thank you. did you discuss issuing this directive with Advocate Pikoli?
Yes, him to be doing was that we were in agreement that we have to wrap. I had no other hidden sight or feeling that, in fact, he was not. Were not together on the matter. He had not done that before.
The question, Minister, was what are you going to do about it? This other long story is interesting, but it's inappropriate. What are you going to do about it?
Well, I'm on leave at the moment. And
The country is faced with what they regard as a national crisis. We're sitting here day in and day out, and you're on leave. The minister's on leave, and that's more important.
I didn't impose leave on myself. I am on leave. That is the fact of the matter.
Are you on
But
special leave?
yes, I'm on special leave. Thank you for that.
I see. So the hopes that we have of getting somewhere with this whole debacle, it's clear that we're not going to get anywhere with it.
That?
We're not going to get anywhere. The police are not going to be fixed. You're on leave. Masamara is on leave. Sabia is on suspension. Everyone's on leave or on holiday or suspended. And nothing's going to happen. And what must we do with all of this? The top structure of South African police are either on leave or in bed.
If I had my way, I wouldn't be on leave. I wouldn't even be here doing what I'm doing. I would be proceeding with the work that we're expected to do in subs so that people feel safer. So once these matters are aside and the President decides on post these commissions, then we are quiet at the moment, and things are not the way they should be, like being on leave and so on. But as I say, my wish is that I was carrying on with the work, implementing the structure and fighting crime.
If we're going to be waiting for the President, Minister, then we all know that we're going to be waiting a very long time.
Was like, call me when you're done. Zip. So, okay, fine.
But you talk about people feeling safe. I just want to tell you that this afternoon, there was a mass shooting in Westbury in Johannesburg. 2 people are dead, and many children were injured, some of them critically. Nobody feels safe. And how does that make you feel?
It's a sad matter to get those news. And in police in South Africa, together with ministry, I know that you grapple with issues on your conscience that had you done this, possibly, this would not have happened. And it haunts you all the time. And therefore, I feel sorry and sad for what you are putting across. But the main thing is the sooner we get over this, the better. And there are more other ugly incidents that have happened as well. And all of them, those that are said, we feel they are a letdown to the country.
Everybody else is a Major General, Lieutenant General. He's the only general in the South African Police Service. He's the head of the South African Police Service. He walked out of the room we were sitting in at the Good Hope Chamber to go and chat to some of the police who were sitting around there. I don't know what they were doing. There seemed to be an inordinate amount of police sitting around not knowing what they're doing while everyone is here. He walked over to a group of policemen. I'm not sure what their ranks were, but they certainly weren't anything close to his. One was draped across a chair. One was sitting on the table. One was leaning against the wall. And when the only general in South African police approached them, not one of them even stood up straight, let alone came to attention. Now, what do you make of that lack of discipline, lack of authority? There was no reaction from General Masemola. He accepted their disrespect without even batting an eyelid.
Well, I listened to you when you were speaking to him about who is the boss and all of that. But what I felt was that there's no inclusion of boss in the constitution and all of that in the legislation, in the legislative framework. But this is to say, General Masemola is the only general, as you say. I agree with that. And he has authority. And that authority is there to be exercised. Well, with the assistance of others, including ministry and so on. I believe that there's a lot to do to improve performance, quite a lot. And it can be done. Because if it is not done, if this is the climax, if this is the best and this is the only thing, then it would mean that we do have a problem, or South Africa does have a problem. So there's room, from where I sit, to do quite a lot of improvements. And we have pointed some of those out to General Masemola.
And the award for talking without even actually answering a question goes to Police Minister. Well, special leave Police Minister sitting at home, Senzo Mchunu. I'm going to end this video right here. Let me know, how did these clips go? Did he answer the questions, or am I being too judgmental? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Remember to like, to comment, to subscribe. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.